When Marcia Clark ran into O.J. Simpson years after the infamous trial of the century, did she have any choice words for the man she once tried to put behind bars? Her feelings towards Simpson might surprise you. Keep watching for more. During a 2016 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Marcia Clark revealed her interest in the justice system was sparked by tragedy. At the age of 17, Clark and some female friends were vacationing at a resort in Eilat, Israel. Although her friends planned to go to a cafe, Clark went back to the hut they were renting as she was tired. Clark said she woke up to find an older man, who she estimated to have been around 27, sitting on her bed. Although she was unsure how he entered the locked hut, she later learned he had access to a master key. Clark told The Hollywood Reporter that she had met the man earlier that same evening. Although she had a bad feeling about him and his forward nature, the man insisted he simply wanted to make sure she was okay, and eventually convinced Clark to accompany him to the cafe where her friends were. Unfortunately, they never made it to the cafe. Instead, he suggested going back to his room, where they could be alone and get to know each other better. Clark said the man was initially very charming. However, when she attempted to leave his room, he would not let her leave. Clark said she was violently assaulted. In addition to tearing her clothing, the man left her bruised and hurt. Prior to the attack, Clark aspired to become an actor. However, The Hollywood Reporter reports the incident propelled Clark into a career in law. In her interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Marcia Clark said she worked on thousands of cases prior to the Simpson trial and her subsequent resignation. She said the realization that her career was over sent her into some form of depression. Clark told the outlet, "That's who I was, a prosecutor. I really loved it, but I couldn't do it. I was afraid to do it, even, because I was afraid I'd go into court and juries would either hate me or be unfairly sympathetic." Clark said she sought the help of a therapist, who she saw periodically. However, she was never prescribed medication. Prior to joining the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, Clark worked as a criminal defense attorney for the Los Angeles firm Brody & Price. However, as reported by J-Rank, she struggled with the reality of defending people accused of violent crime. One case in particular, in which the defendant was accused of stabbing a woman to death, was especially difficult for Clark. J-Rank reports Clark's work on the case led to an acquittal, and the accused killer was freed. However, although she won the case, she struggled emotionally with the result. When she discussed her misgivings with her employer, he suggested she apply for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, where she was hired in 1981. Clark became known as a conscientious and skilled prosecutor who had specific success prosecuting accused killers. Marcia Clark gained nationwide attention for her successful prosecution of Robert Bardo, who was accused in the murder of actor Rebecca Schaeffer. Bardo was just one of 19 accused killers who Clark secured convictions against within a period of 10 years. Despite her record of successful prosecutions, Clark feels partially responsible for Simpson's acquittal. During a 2016 interview with Today, she was asked whether she blamed herself for the outcome of the trial.
You blame yourself for this?
I always do. I do.
Although she eventually left the Los Angeles District Attorney's office and closed her own practice, Clark wanted to continue working. However, she changed her focus. Shortly after the conclusion of the trial, she wrote a book titled Without a Doubt, about her struggles amid the Simpson trial and the aftermath. She also went on to write 2 fiction series, the Samantha Brinkman series and the Rachel Knight series, which both feature strong female attorneys. As reported by Marcia Clark Books, NBC purchased a pilot script for her book Blood Defense, which was part of the Samantha Brinkman series. Clark was also a voice actor in the television series Animals and appeared on the television series Pretty Little Liars. She is also credited as a writer and the executive producer for the 2019 FX television series The Fix. Additionally, Clark has provided legal commentary on a number of television and radio news programs and podcasts. She also starred in a 2018 series titled Marcia Clark Investigates the First 48, in which she explores a number of high-profile homicide cases. Marcia Clark says she is still what she would describe as a workaholic. In addition to writing and her career in television and radio, she periodically works on appeals for the indigent. According to Clark, she has not taken a vacation in years. However, she is perfectly content with her ongoing projects. Although she was raised Jewish, Clark said she explored Scientology in the late 1970s. During her interview with The Hollywood Reporter, She said she never got past the very low levels and left by 1980. Although she calls L. Ron Hubbard's writing bad and described it as amateur hour, she acknowledged some of the concepts can be beneficial. Clark said she is quite spiritual, but does not currently adhere to any particular religion. According to The Hollywood Reporter, she has found peace in meditation and is intrigued by the concepts taught in Buddhism and Hinduism. Clark said she has lost contact with most of the people involved in the Simpson trial and has only stepped foot into the courtroom where the trial took place one time since its conclusion. In her interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Clark said she has seen Simpson one time since the trial, which was when she covered his armed robbery trial for Entertainment Tonight. Clark said they barely acknowledged each other's presence.
Do you hate O.J. Simpson now?
I never hated him to begin with. It's not a personal thing. It wasn't a personal vendetta then. It's not now.
If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE, 1-800-656-4673.